I'd like your input on that.
So these plans that you have in front of you, I actually just received and saw them for the first time yesterday in a meeting that we had at the school district. These are plans that they submitted to us. Something like that is feasible. You know, what the main, or I should say majority of the cost was is to regrade in the, I believe it's the second to last page, inside of their property. I'm just guessing here, probably 30 plus, but possibly 40 feet to get the flow towards the road. That would be substantially,
It's actually the last page, sorry.
thank you, it's on the last page. But that was a substantial portion of the funds. As far as like public infrastructure, a catch basin with a sump pump is not very typical. But on a private side, something owned by, say, a resident or a business or, you know, school district, that is an option that they would select if they choose to not necessarily cut corners, but to save overall costs. Yes.
Yeah, 15 years ago, we gravelled all of our side streets, and then we also did the 2-inch lift on 7th. I have catch basins, I have sump pumps, and that was from 17 years ago. And it has kept the water, because you were looking at the central air system inside the home, and the renter called, and the water was 2 inches from coming in the house. And so, yeah, when we lifted everything in the street, it all came in on the properties, and it worked really good.
John, you have the floor.
Okay, my question is for you.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at page 2 there, and I see all the red lines there. Now that's the area where you're having the problem, is that correct?
It's not necessarily the area we're having the problem, so I'm gonna push the green button while Julie talks.
Okay, so on page 2, on the red area that you're looking, that is looking at cutting, so there is a little bit of asphalt in those areas that are red. And so at the first part of the street right there, that's all asphalt, and in order to build the grade and be able to put, because there's no, right at the edge of that curb, there is no drain right there. And so we are wanting to put a drain in there that where if you follow that down, you see the skinny red line, that would be actually a pipe that would lead to the drain that is on the back side of that white car right there.
Oh, okay, so I guess I'm not,
John, your microphone.
I guess I'm not sure. So, right, where is the actual problem again?
The actual problem is a large red area right there. What you're looking at is an overall, we're looking at having the whole parking lot done so that we're solving a bigger problem.
So part of the concept here is that we're not gonna put a Band-Aid on something that's gonna require stitches, so that when we do it right, because we could just go ahead and asphalt the whole thing and call it good, but it's not gonna fix any of my drainage issues. And so, I don't know if any of you have been by that little intersection there, or driveway, when it's been raining, but on that side of the street and on the other side of the street, whereas the bus loading zone, there are pools of water that we cannot walk children out there, and that's off the sidewalk. And, you know, so there are additional water issues in front of the elementary school that were made worse with the Safe Routes to School grant. And so, you know, I just want to give you a little bit of background about how this came about, because I feel like it's important for you to know that this conversation, I started having this with Susie and the previous public works person when I first got here. So this is the beginning of my 5th year. And not only did I have a first initial conversation before COVID, but then when we were in the throes of COVID, we also walked the area and we pointed out the problems that we were having. That was probably halfway through COVID. And at that time, you know, as Susie said, didn't have money in the budget. I said I totally understood. It wasn't something we were looking at doing tomorrow, but that I wanted that conversation to continue because it makes our area unusable. And if we were a private resident, you know, there would be a partnership between the city and that private residency to try to make that work. At the same time, you know, I've been here at council meetings when we've had residents come and talk about the lack of parking in front of Jervis Elementary School. We lost about 10 spaces when they redid 10 parking spaces when they did the Safe Routes to School work. And at that time, we had a conversation with both the architect and Susie and Public Works about making sure that when that curb went in, or that there was a curb that would move that water away, and it didn't happen. So, you know, there are multiple issues, and I get that there's no money. Believe me, I totally understand that there's no money. But we're willing to, we're gonna have to go back out to bid, because this bid is old now, and who knows what prices are gonna do. But at that time, we would like to partner with the city to look at those bids, so that the section that we believe that the city is responsible for, at that entry, that driveway space, that actually pools in the street and makes this big puddle, and creating that drain down Douglas, or down First into the city's current drain system. If there are a possibility of sump pumps, great, we're willing to do that. I also shared with John that we're not expecting a check to be cut tomorrow. The district is willing to finance this over multiple years without charging any kind of interest, but just that so that we can figure out how to move forward in creating a parking space that our employees can use, because we have limited parking, we have more employees, and it's really, it's a hazard with all of the water, the gravel. So we can continue answering questions about the logistics. If you have other questions, Julie's the expert on that. And I'm the person that can answer like the bigger why question.
That's the first I'm hearing of it, and I'm not sure about the rest of the council, but it's a lot to kind of digest. So I'm glad you brought the conversation back. I was totally unaware of any issue.
I got a question for Kyle. So, in that area, right across from where there was housing, there's a house there. And they- Well, there was also some other people live there too. But anyway, my question is, wouldn't that mean that there's probably some pipes running that way?
Right now, a lot of the older homes and whatnot, they actually, the roof drains and that would go into the French drain or whatnot. There is no storm drain within I should say the closest storm drain is one block either north or south from this exact location on our maps.
Thank you.
Junior, you have the floor.
Danny, Danny, was this project in the school bond?
In the second bond, it was not, because we heard from the voters that they did not want to pay for parking. And so the pre-bond planning committee removed it. It was included in the first bond.
Is there some way that, we can get some money back or anything from this if it's presented again on a bond? The school bond, that is?
So how that would work is if you've already spent money on a project, you can't reimburse yourself from a bond. But the timing of this bid, I believe the school board is considering whether or not to go for another bond. That'll be discussion coming up in September and October. So that's why we would look at a late spring bid, because there could be components that could be covered in the bond if it has to do with safety. But it wouldn't pay for the whole thing.
Yeah, cause I've seen this area flood. When I sometimes, like a couple years ago, that we went up to the football games.
Mhm.
This area up here in the parking lot, and then coming into the parking lot over here by the blue card, there's a lot of standing water there.
That is right by our preschool program as well. So it's, we now have 3 full rooms, so we've got close to 38 kids in that program. So, they're hard to manage. and they like water.
Madam Mayor? What I think would be helpful to staff is to, obviously, to have the council explore these questions and these kind of things, but I ask you maybe to refer the matter back to us to sit and work with the district
I
staff.
was just gonna go there.
Right, and not only see if we can come up with alternatives, but Kyle and I can continue to look for potential sources of money to give you some idea of what might be able to be done.
Okay, in doing that, maybe, we've already suggested one way with the joint person. Kyle, I'd like you to, you said that you had just gotten this and you need some time. I mean, you've been through heck this last week, so I'd like to give you that time as well. Is that all right, council?
Definitely.
John, we'll refer it back to you.
Yeah, and I'll tentatively set it for the October date, council meeting, if for no other reason than to give you an update.
I'd appreciate that, and I'm sorry, Danny, I really did not know this was an issue. I don't get over that way much. Thank you for bringing it though, because now I'm gonna go look.
You're welcome, thank you. And did anybody have any other questions for Julie, since she is the resident expert right now, while she's here?
You know what? I'm just like, this is a lot of
Yeah.
information. I
It's fine.
knew you were coming, but I didn't
Yeah.
know about this.
Yeah. Okay, well, I can bring her back anytime.
Thank you. The next one was request for qualifications as a city attorney, and I think that we're gonna go ahead and strike that because we've already determined to switch attorneys. So I will strike that. Ethics training in-house. I had asked that the new council have a chance to have an ethics training, and I think anyone that would like to brush up. I think the problem being is getting people together to do it and having more than just a few. John, can we include staff in that?
Absolutely.
I think it's valuable, and I will share with you, I have had ethics, charges brought against me both times being exonerated. But what saved me is because I did have the training and I didn't break the ethics. Little things can get anybody in trouble. So, Joel, Rob, if you'd like to participate in junior, I'd like you to come in if you would. Michael, John, anybody that would like to, but I definitely will be there, cause I can never, it's a brush up for me.
We could set this up for a day meeting or an evening. If you do the whole thing, they say it can be done in about 4 hours, generally because there's a lot of questions. And so anticipate a 4-hour session, half a day or an evening, long evening for doing this.
I work during the day and I would like to support my co-counsel, the new council. I'd like to stand with them during the training to show support. So I would vote for an evening, but I know that one of our counselor, Ramon, you're going to be.
Yeah, I won't be available that meeting.
Okay, so would you be back and maybe open for one in October or November?
Yes, I would.
Well, okay, so can I anticipate that we would work with the Ethics Commission to set up an evening session in October? We'll make sure it works around your calendar. We could start like at 5:30 and have dinner. It's always good to break bread together. And
I'll make lasagna,
Excellent.
but I would like, staff. I don't know if you could make them come or if it will be optional, but I would love everybody to have a brush up in our, we can glean new things each time we're through it.
No, I'll invite all the staff. I know that Kyle and Mark and I, at a minimum, will be there, and maybe we'll get other staff people as well.
Okay, that being said, I'll move on to the staff reports, and we have the police department, and I will call Tim West. Lieutenant Tim West, and by the way, thank you, I've heard so many good things about your, demeanor during this crisis. You really shined, Tim, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everyone, for, I appreciate the opportunity to be here and present the staff report for the Jervis Police Department. I'll try to keep it short. Please bear with me. This is my first time doing this in front of everyone. My audience is usually the kids from Dare. You guys are a little bit older of a group than I'm used to. Our calls for service, total calls for service is 195. We had 4 arrests, 65 traffic offenses, 43 traffic written warnings, assisted agencies outside city limits 18 times, and we had 3 assistant agencies inside city limits. The Emergency Operations Center, which is the generator out back, Public Works completed installing the bullards, and this project is completed. The generator was put to the test recently with a power outage. The generator also started and supplied power to the police department. I would like to give a special thanks to Joe and Hunter, and of course, their supervisor Kyle from Public Works for their hard work installing the bullards. It actually worked twice. I was here with the recent power outage, and it kicked on like it should. It was nice. Also a special thanks to Crystal Camacho, Chief Chase, and their assistance when needed with City Hall. Abby Fernandez has been putting a lot of effort in trying to make our City Hall operate as smoothly as possible, even with staff shortages. Employees in the city do step up when needed, and I'm proud to work with them all. I believe that falls for everybody in the city, including the police officers. Everybody steps up. I'm honored to see how it works when something goes wrong. Everybody puts in, city manager, everyone here puts in and helps out. We had National Night Out. This was the 11th annual National Night Out, and it was sponsored by the Jervis Community Progress Team. I'd like to thank all the people involved in the Jervis Community Progress Team for their efforts in making this event happen. The Jervis Police Department had a great time supporting our neighbors. This event allows us to communicate with our community. We promote DARE, pass out free helmets, and talk about public safety. Gives us a good opportunity also for the kids to see us in light, not just when we're out on patrol, but get to talk to us. And it's fun to see the smiles on their faces. We had some significant calls for service. I kind of shortened it down a little bit. We had a current warrant resisting arrest call. Jervis police officers were attempting to take a subject into custody. Person decided to resist arrest. The subject tensed up and refused to be handcuffed. Our officers were able to place the subject into custody after a struggle. The subject was not injured, but in the process, 2 officers received injuries. Our officers did a great job, acted professionally, used their training and experience, and minimized the risk to themselves and others. Our officers responded to a call. We also responded to a call of a fight in the street. It was the same night of the National Night Out. The subject was taken into custody and transported to the Marion County Jail. That was kind of nice because we had extra people for that event, and they were able to take care of that. We've been handling a lot of noise complaints. We've had an increase in loud music complaints and parties in the evenings. Multiple warnings have been issued, and some repeat offenders have been cited for the city ordinance under 8.04.110, unnecessary noise. That's just kind of a breakdown. There's a couple of things I believe I left out, but I don't want to use too much of the time on that. Any questions?
Sean Harvey, you have the floor.
Oh, yeah, I'm just curious about the officers. I take it that it was minor injuries.
Yes, it was. Anytime we have scratches, bruises, or anything that has to be articulated in our reports, our use of force reports, and I believe they did a great job. I'm actually the use of force instructor for us, and they handle it very professionally.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions from council?
I have something I want to bring up, but I think maybe I'll wait till the end and do it at the end. Council thing.
Okay, John, just remind me. Tim, great job.
Thank you.
Thank you for shortening that up for us. And I want to thank you for the National Night Out, and I want to more thank you for what you did. I don't know how many of you know this, but Lieutenant West was on duty the night of the lightning. He stayed and after his shift rolled up his sleeves and helped Kyle and Hunter through getting our water, babysat all night, and you went above and beyond, Tim, and Lieutenant West, my deepest gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we will do. Oh, I heard good things about him. I like your foot patrols you've been doing. I heard all about it. You didn't think I knew that, did ya? He actually walks through our parks and our neighborhoods, and I was just thrilled when I heard that. Thank you, Tim. Next, we'll hear from Kyle of Public Works.
I'd like to start off by saying thank you to everybody who has assisted us with the whole water situation. It's been a challenge, but it's been fun. I couldn't think of a better way to spend my vacation, which started Saturday. So, but yes, a big thanks to everybody. Mayor, one call at 2 in the morning or whenever it was, and you were able to help get the word out, and that way we can concentrate, get everything running. So I just want to lead off with that. But I'll keep it short here with my report. You guys have probably noticed all the new paint laid on the pavement around town. That's part of our bigger picture. That was supposed to take a couple months, but Joe and Hunter really buckled down and got all of it done. It just blew me away how fast they did it. So we're gonna start on doing curbs and other traffic management. You know, the red curbs, yellow curbs and everything around town.
The yellow curbs was actually from Miss Baptista was wondering, so you are going to do those?
Yes, we have paint purchased. That was our goal to start this week, but we had to change plans. So, quick update on the lighting in the park. The first pole is scheduled to be set September 22nd. They're going to start off with one pole, then we will get the trench dug, power installed. Once power is run to that pole, they will go ahead and set the remainder of them. It should move along very rapidly, which will be very nice coming into this time of year. Nights are getting longer. Update on the water plant. We are up and running. We had to pull a couple tricks to get to where all 3 pumps are working in auto. We have fire protection. We were really only without that for a couple hours. We got the 2 smaller pumps working almost immediately once we had power restored to the building. There was a series of failures. Personally, I think we took a direct hit of lightning. It took out our backup as well as our backup to the backup. So I'm currently in contact with several people.
Recording in progress.
Regarding estimates and that will be coming in the future as we get that work through. And lastly, yeah, with the shortage of staff here in City Hall, Joe and Hunter have graciously volunteered to take turns, come in and fill in afternoons when Abby, has other duties to perform. So it'll take a little bit of time to get them trained up, but they should be able to come in and assist you with any kind of questions, water billing and that. So that'll be a big relief for her. And Joe is working on his wastewater certifications. He's gonna be attending a school in early November and will be testing probably immediately after that. So we are encouraging him. He's been looking forward to doing that for a very long time.
I think cross-training has been something that we have lacked. That way we have people available in case of emergency. We did not have anybody cross-trained, and I think Kyle, you've set a really good example with your department. I know you do a lot of that. I think we could really learn from you, so thank you.
Great job.
Kyle, you went above and beyond. He didn't sleep for almost 2 days, and the communication was amazing. Thank you. I'll go into that in a minute.
Yes, Floor?
Yes.
Kyle, going back to the losing power 1, power 2, power 3, isn't there safeguards to keep that from happening even if you do take a direct hit? What happened to our safeguards?
Well, of course the building's grounded. safeguard is we have a 175 kW generator out back. It started as designed, it did not transfer power to the building. The backup to that plan is we have a natural gas water pump. And it has automatic controls on it as well, so once the pressure drops down to a certain threshold, it starts up and it starts moving water. We came in, the screen on that was black. Fortunately, Joe, the utility worker, he was able to find some fried wires in that and got that repaired. We test ran it yesterday, and so that is back up and running, but I don't understand the electricity, but there were several things that were in place to prevent something like this, and it was a perfect storm where the plant was dark.
And we are facing the switchgear being rebuilt, but it is something that is hard to come by. It takes over a year to get, and it can range in price of up to about $750,000, depending on what you needed. And you said that our panel might be able to be rebuilt.
Yes, it's Cummins Power Generation brand, and I've been in almost constant contact with their office out of Portland. I spoke to a technician yesterday. He was supposed to come down the evening before. He had a family emergency, so we were in contact last night. And I answered a series of questions, and he says, well, I can come down and look at it. In the city would have to pay essentially an emergency service call for that, but these are essentially the parts that I suspect, so I'm gonna order those. I'll still come down and look at it if you like, but I'd rather have the parts on hand and only charge you for one service call. So I went ahead and told him, we have our other backup pump running, if need be, so let's save it. I think it was $1,000, or I forget what it was. I fielded so many phone calls this week. So.
Thank you.
And also for the funding, I'll just real quickly say I've been in contact with Congressman Andrea Salinas, Representative Tracy Creamer, and they will be working closely with our city manager, John Morgan, to help us in any way their team can. I'll let him elaborate on that in his report now.
Great, let me just jump in and talk about that. Our most likely source of funding is from the U.S. Department of Agriculture Rural Development Program. And we have been in very close contact with them. That is the federal agency that we highlighted for Congresswoman Chehalis.
I don't know.
I can't even say it right, Chehalis. It's not Chehalis. It's been a long week. And they pledged to be very much in the middle of our conversations with Department of Agriculture and getting this work done. And we're also getting those same contacts out of our state reps and their staff. So I think we're gonna have a good army of people ready to help us and going after the funding to help with this particular repair project. And again,